Hi everybody, my name is Ria Rustagi and I am the COO and co-founder of a startup called Neuphony across Europe and India, and we are developing a wearable neurofeedback device which helps validate your mental state and helps you unlock your true potential using meditation and music therapy. So, one of the very big reasons why we created this device was to help people understand what is going on inside their brain and take mental health as important as physical health, because as a common person 5 years back 4 years back I had no clue about what brain is and what each part of the brain and the lobes can do to us, and this is what Neuphony helps you understand. As a part of our startup, every Sunday we bring inspirational stories from around the world. We bring experts from neuroscience, meditation, mental health to kind of share their expertise with you. And today I have one of the most inspiring stories and something I have so much in common with, surprisingly. But I want to bring Ariel Johnson to you. She is a brain traumatic transformation coach, but more than that, she is an survivor herself. She completes 13 years of her road accident today, and I will not say anything more. I will ask, thank you so much, Ariel, for joining our platform and sharing your journey on this very, very special day with us.
Thank you. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it so much. So today is my 13-year anniversary on today of my car accident, December 13th, 2007. So I'm a brain injury survivor, traumatic brain injury survivor, and I created a social media platform to give back, to help heal me, to give a place for brain injury survivors where they can talk, complain, nag, be at peace with their injury, because it's so what is it? What's the word? It's so it's not like an ankle being broken.
Exactly.
It's
A
so
lot
yeah.
more.
Yeah. So I was driving back to school so December 13th, 2007, I was driving back to school on a free period because as a senior, I was a senior in high school. You can leave to and from school and on your free periods. It was hailing. It was such a bad day, weather wise. I swerved into the oncoming lane, hit a van, collided into a pole, and then another car hit me on my passenger side. Thank God there was an off-duty EMT healthcare professional 2 cars behind the van. He saved my life at the scene because I was choking, and then because of the seatbelt, and then I was they noticed I was unconscious, so they were EMT men, and his name's Tommy Winslow. I'm really excited because I'm speaking with him later on today via Zoom, so I'm really excited about that. So they immediately brought me to Nassau University Medical Center, where they did a glioblastoma scale. They took a picture of the inside of my skull because I was internally bleeding. 0, you're dead. 14, you're alive. I was between a 3 and an 8. So I was unconscious. I was in a coma. They immediately put me on life support. I was in life support for a good 2 or 3 weeks. And then my mom and my dad were like, okay, what's going on? Like, she needs, ER place that she's in right now, she's not going to recover fast. So my mom made the decision to get me a helmet and to bring me to Mount Sinai Hospital on 100th, Mount Sinai Hospital on 100th and Madison in Manhattan, known for best TBI, traumatic brain injury. There I woke up around the middle of January. I woke up and I was like, what the freak is going on? Like, I was as if I was in a movie. My right side was completely numb, almost like paralyzed, but I could still kind of feel it. And then over time it got better. Now I just have like really bad nerve damage. So when I when I do the dishes or when I take a shower, I have to feel with my left side first and then my right. So I woke up they were like, you were in an accident. I saw signs all over my room from my classmates saying like, get well, feel better. I saw my family. My memory was all there. I remembered everybody, but obviously I didn't remember like a month prior to the accident or a couple of months prior to the accident. I don't remember that day. So they were like, basically like, okay, you have to learn how to walk, talk, do everything all over again. Learn how to sit, learn how to just be a human again. So I was like, okay, awesome. Let's do this. Let's go. And mentally I was, because my brain was hit, because so they did an immediate craniectomy. They removed the right part of my skull to relieve the pressure because I was internally bleeding. So when they took that picture of my skull, they were like, okay, she's hemorrhaging, she's internally bleeding. Let's remove the right part of my skull to relieve the pressure. And then they put it back in once the swelling goes down. But when I woke up from a coma, I had an in-cave skull. The skull was gone. They left it at the other hospital. So I was like, oh, okay. So I know it's pretty wild, because I was with one of the nurses, and I was like, I want to see my head, because I felt it, and I was like, I would get like freaked out. And then she was like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah. And walking with the walker, I walked to the mirror, and I like collapsed. Like I was like, it was super dramatic. It was like a traumatic event, seeing my in-cave skull. Like at 17, I was just, what the fuck? Sorry, what the heck is going on? Sorry. Yeah. So from there, I learned how to walk, talk, do everything all over again, and that like really made me grateful for the little things, like. So then. Midway through February, I was able to go home. I was up to the hospital standards to leave. So, because everybody needs beds, they need people to cycle through. And okay, you got it. Went home. My family made a bed on the floor, because I couldn't walk up the steps yet. So the first floor of the living room, they made a room for me, which was really cool. Celebrated my birthday February 23rd, and then March 3rd I went back to the hospital to put an acrylic plate back in with like screws. So then but this time I was awake for the ER. So I heard like all the things that go into an ER room, like the craziness. So I had to stay there for a little bit, and then March 19th I recovered. I was sent home, and then I had to go to like rehabilitation centers and just relearn how to like get my emotions back, get control of who Ariel now is. So I had very, very severe depression in 2012. I was at my worst. I was smoking cigarettes. I was just like I was like 50, 60 pounds overweight. I just wasn't happy. And I was like, and I didn't have friends, right? Because my friends didn't understand what I was going through. Like nobody I expected people to understand, like how could you, just go, we're friends.
Yeah.
It's all good. I've learned that they had no idea. How could they? So I had to that was at the point where I was like, I want to talk to someone who understands what I'm going through, who understands traumatic brain injury, who understands aphasia, who understands aphasia is basically when I want to say a word, but it's up here, but I can't get it to connect with. Yeah, I'm sure you understand. So just to understand on a basis level of what TBI is. So I tried to start what I'm doing now, but it just didn't work out. I wasn't experienced. And then later down the line, 7 years, fast forward, I have everything I want. I have a career. I have a boyfriend whom I love and loves me. I have an apartment where I have everything I want. So I'm ready now to start the TBI Me. And what better time to start it was quarantine. So yeah, that was basically my
Oh
story.
my god, that's a hell of an amazing story. Like, this brain part wasn't there in any of the articles like that I saw in read about you. So this was like a surprising part for me as well, because I didn't know this. And it's,
Yeah.
oh my god, I cannot even imagine what it must have felt like, because I'm pretty sure that you still remember what it looked like and what it felt like, because that
Yeah.
part doesn't go anywhere. And it must have been like, for a 17-year-old, that must have been too overwhelming.
It's like beyond overwhelming for what I went through, but also it's just like, so now I'm starting to write a book. I'm very, very early stages. My mom brought up, I always knew I wanted to write a book like about my experience, but then I'm like, okay, what am I going to write a book about? And my mom was like, why don't you do about caregiving? Because the caregivers, like the perspective coming from me, a TBI survivor, but for caregivers, right?
That's
And
so
so yeah, so just to kind of understand the emotions that we go through, understanding that we have so much emotions going on right now. When we first initially go through it, the outbursts and just so many,
yes,
they're all
there's
in,
a
they're
flow,
all
I feel
stacked.
like,
Yes.
because I remember like there, it's like for me, like you are the survivor and I am the family part kind of. So it's like it starts with regrets, it goes into like frustration, it goes into somewhere like hate for the society and people around you. Like, I know hate is a very strong word, but it's like a disgust slash hate slash a lot of
Yeah.
emotions. And then it's like, then you go for this, like I think I went for this like for 2 years or so, and then there comes the part where you start healing. So you have to tell whatever happened for the good. And
Yeah.
like, I do good like this because I really don't
Because
believe that it's good, but yeah, like,
I do it, like it's so hard to put yourself in a position where it's like you have to view it as, okay, for so long I was like, why did this happen to me? This is BS. Like, I was like, because I would tell my family, and there something switched, and I was like, I'm blessed. I am so blessed to have this accident happen to me, and it rearranged my life. It forced me to level up. It forced me to relearn how to properly be a human being and not be where I was at. And so I want to teach caregivers to speak to their loved ones, speak to the warrior, understand that they have a ball of emotions, and be empathetic to them, understanding that their life just got ripped from underneath them. You have to put yourself in their position, in their shoes, and get them. And it's just like a understanding at that point, right? Of like,
yes, this is
and
an
wanting.
amazing idea. I totally like, I would read that book, because it's it's amazing, Ariel. So can I ask you, like, at that time when you were going through all of this, what were the things that motivated you the most? Things that helped you, like, kept going, because I'm pretty sure there were multiple instances like after the accident where you would have felt like it's too much effort, and I'm pretty sure life is like not worth it, that emotion. Like, I felt that
Yeah.
I think
No,
I can
no,
read it from your face.
you literally, you said that perfectly. So I had really bad suicidal thoughts, right? I was like, what's the point of living? Like, why am I here, dude? Like, dude, or to whomever, the universe,
Yeah.
God, like, why am I here? And it's like, one of my motivating factors was knowing that I got out of a coma. I did all these little things to reach where I was now. And it just also seeing my friends and seeing my sisters and seeing my families accomplish what they were doing what they were doing at the time and being like, no, I can get to their level. It's that like fight within myself that I'm better than where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And I just continuously, like, that ambitious person in me was just like, no, Ariel, stop crying. Like, okay, you can cry, you know, you just got fired, and like something just happened during the recovery process where it was just like, no, you can do better. You can just move forward from that. And it was just, my motivation was really the people around me, the positive people that I kept around me, to just continuously try and do better and be the best version of myself.
Exactly. Like family plays like a very crucial role, especially with the post-traumatic part, because it's like you all are in a journey. Maybe sometimes it does get difficult because everybody has had their struggles. Like I'm pretty sure your parents, for them it was not easy. For your sisters, it was not easy to see you go through like that. And then it's like
yeah, like exactly, like every time I bring it up to my dad, like or not so much my sisters, but every time I bring it to my dad, he was like, Ariel, I get you're feeling that way, but like that was such a rough time for us. Like maybe we can schedule a time to talk about it, because I'm not in the moment in that headspace right now. And like I was just talking to my sister the other day, and I don't know how we got onto the topic. And she was like, yeah, mom, that day when she found out that her daughter was in the accident, like she was hysterical. Like it was like as something died inside her that day. And I'm just like, just hearing it, that like piecing together everybody's experiences with mine. And it's just like, little by little helping me heal and knowing that I'm in a better place now.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that must be really helpful. Like as you said, in the healing, it's good that they let their emotions out, like your sister shared this with you, because it always helps, because you know that gives you a reason. I have to fight this, because while I was in a journey, my parents have supported me and backed me, you know, like they did a lot to kind of get you in this place, and now this journey is yours to take forward.
Exactly. They pushed me and they got me. Like all of that would have been for nothing. Their decision making and them getting me to a new hospital. And then if I would have just stayed stagnant and just not motivated myself and not been positive, and because like the main thing that I really want to like let people know is setting your intention of what you want your life to be like. And also you have to keep your circle positive. Like if your circle is not positive, then no, you cannot move forward, because then where are you going to go? Your negative thoughts, your thoughts dictate your life, right? Yes. So if they're negative, it won't work. It won't. You can't build the life you want to build.
Exactly, because subconsciously those thoughts will enter your mind and they will program you to kind of, you know, maybe I cannot do this. Then you'll start questioning yourself. And obviously it does take a little while, but that is the path where we should not go. We wouldn't want to go, because we want to always kind of move forward and kind of get running through it, you know, battle through. So the next question I have for you here is, I read through that you learned and unlearned. Like one thing I want to share here is, especially for people, when, as Ariel was saying in the beginning, when you have a brain traumatic injury, it's unlike anything else, because it's your heart. Whenever it's anything else, your brain is working and functioning, and there are all these cognitions that they are in place, you know, because then you know what to do, you can program and control. But when it's your brain, then everything goes down. You're like a toddler again. You have to unlearn everything, like even the basic as picking up a spoon and eating and biting your food. All these things are like completely new. So you are not able to take any decisions, you are not able to do anything in your life like an adult. And I really want Ariel, because I read through this in your blog and I was like, yes, I like I can remember a few things. So can you share something about the brain part here? Like, because I know on your handle you post a lot about brain and the right and the left part of your body. So what were the different things that you learned about trauma and brain which helps you now, basically?
So one thing, okay, so I believe my frontal lobe was affected the most because my memory was bad. I was and these are videos that I'm going to be doing, but my impulsivity was bad. Like I was super impulsive. I was quick to do anything. And even now I haven't healed like altogether, but I'm healing, and like I still am a little impulsive. I'm still like a little this, and I'm still working through my negative thoughts. And but I feel it's emotions, right? You have to like circle out when you're feeling such a high emotion that motivates someone. And once you kind of have to, with the trauma, everybody goes through trauma, correct?
Yes.
It could be heartbreak, it could be a car accident, it could be getting I don't know, it could be anything. So it's like I had to sit with myself when I went through those depressing states, and I took myself off the medication, in which I don't think anybody should. You have to go through your doctor. But I hated the way that the medicine was making me feel. Like it was an antidepressant, it was a mood stabilizer. I was on a lot anti-seizure, but the anti-seizure I stayed on. But I was literally forced to sit in my room and cry out the emotions and cry out the pain and go through the feeling of that Ariel that once was is no longer. You know what I mean? I had to let go of that person that died that day. You know what I mean? And that person that was once, you know, going to do X, Y, and Z she's no longer there. She's somewhere else. And that was the hardest part. That was like letting go of that person, and now like accepting who I was now with I can't tell stories for anything. I can't, but I would tell myself I can't tell stories. I would tell myself I can't drive. I would tell myself I can't get a job unless it's within walking distance. And then something switched. My mom said something to me during my recovery, and she was like, "Ellie, you gotta cut that out. You gotta stop with that negative. You can't say you can't. You will drive again. You will have a full-time job without wanting to take naps during the day, because the fatigue of your brain. Like there's so many things that go into having a brain injury, right? Or a traumatic event happened to your brain, and then dealing with the fatigue, because it's like you said, a toddler again. There was a point in my recovery where I would have to take at least 2 naps a day. Like, and it could be literally I wake up at 9, I walk downstairs, or not walk downstairs, but I would walk to the kitchen, I would eat, I would talk to family and friends, and then I would need to take like a 20-minute nap just to kind of get that mind go, like have that mind like regenerate, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, and then with the memory, I still have memory issues. I set alarms for everything. The minute someone tells me to do something, I'm like, hold up, I need to write an alarm. And then it reminds me the day of. So yeah. So that's just little things with the brain that I have to do.
That is a part of, I think, post-trauma life, which we have to start dealing with on a day-to-day basis, I think, you know?
Exactly. And it's just like, and also another thing, like being open to talk about it, like with the caregivers, like my parents and my sisters and my family, like they were open to talk about what happened that day. And they're like, when I would come to them, they would be open to when they were in the right mind and when we were in the right setting, they were open to explain to me what happened. And my mom actually wrote a book during the time that I was in the accident. She wrote down everything that happened. She knew that I would get to the spot that I am now, where I would want to look back and read it. So yeah.
Wow.
So
this was an amazing idea, actually, like what your mother did. Like, because it always helps to now the person you have become, as you said, that was another person. Like the day you started recovering, it's all another story. And yeah, it definitely makes sense. Thank you for sharing, firstly, this important part. Now, I want to let the audience know that if you have any questions, how Ariel dealt with it, anything, please feel free to ask in the comments section. Now, I would like to ask is that a very important emotion through, I think, dealing with post-traumatic issues, be it the person who has gone through it or the family, is like aggression. Like I feel like, I think for 1 year I think for the first year I was angry at everyone in the world, everybody. So how did you deal with
me
this?
too. Okay, so it's so funny. I was talking to my dad about it, and I was like, Dad, I don't think I was ever like, why did this accident happen to me? Like, I know I was angry. There was a time where like 2 or 3 years where I was extremely angry, or like 4 years. And then he explained to me, he was like, no, for such a long time, you were so angry at us. You would have these outbursts of just frustration. It's like, at any given moment, I would lash out, and I would just freak out, and they didn't understand. They didn't know what the triggers were. At any given moment, I would just break out of, not character, but of what I was doing. And then I would just be like I would be helping with something, and then all of a sudden I'll be like, oh, this is so annoying. Like I would just be frustrated. I honestly think that exercising really helped me. I started to exercise twice a day, whether if it was walking or it was going to the gym on the elliptical. I just getting that out, because that's all stuck and stagnant in the brain, right? It's all mental at the end of the day, right? So it's all that aggression, that anger, that frustration, that it needs to get out, so now happy feelings can come in. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So by exercising, by walking, by movement, it could be a dance class, it could be something you love to do, it could be just anything where there's movement. I think that really, really helped me get out those emotions. And talking about it, do not forget that, like, just simply talking about it doesn't have to be with the therapist. It could be you simply writing it down. You could now with technology, you could with your recorder on your phone, just talk about whatever. And then and it could be with a friend, just talking, just be like, oh, this bothers me, this X, Y, and Z, I'm angry at, why did it have to happen on this day? And why did it have to be snowing? Why didn't the school close campus that day? I don't understand. But just getting it out of your system really.
There was this talk with one of the neuroscientists, Dr. Thomas Fiener. He's from Munich, Germany. And we were talking to him about how negative thoughts can actually in the brain create like these blockages, like in the sense that you'll stop having positive thoughts. So negative thoughts are can be considered as blockages, and if you don't let them out, you will have difficulty in like positive thoughts flowing in. And that was coming like from a neuroscience perspective. It's not just something that you say psychologically or philosophically, like, that's a good thing to say, but it's like actually true from scientific perspective as well.
It's so funny. And I don't know what you believe in. Faith is everything, but I believe in energy, right?
Yes.
If you're a good person, it's going to come back to you tenfold, right? If you just continue being good and good and good. Like the way you, I don't know, there was a study somewhere, and they talked to water, like they saw the water crystals. I forgot how it went, but the water crystals, when they put really positive music on, the water crystals would make really pretty shapes, and then when they put on really like sad music, the water crystals would turn like extremely like
Negative,
they morph into something. Yeah. So that's it. So that what you kind of said is what you said is the same thing. It's like the way we talk to ourselves, we have to be kind to ourselves, because this world is, it's sad, and it could be very negative, because negative is the easy way out, right?
Yeah.
So it's like we have to take accountability for talking nice to ourselves, you know what I mean, and keeping ourselves in check. And so we're just nice to each other, nice to, once I'm nice here, then I could be nice word out.
Now this is very true, because like if we cannot love ourselves, it would be difficult for people to kind of support us in those times. And it's like very, very important to prioritize ourselves in just any way, as a matter of fact, in the whole journey of life. Trauma, no trauma, mental health issues or no mental health issues, it's always important to kind of take care of yourself first, because you then kind of take that negative energy and thoughts to others.
Exactly.
Maybe even subconsciously, maybe even as a good human being.
Exactly. And that energy like attaches, and that negative energy can attach really, really quickly. So you have to be so mindful of being in check with yourself.
One more thing that I want to kind of ask you is, at those times, because this is a part of the question what we are talking about, why saying no is important when you're going through such a difficult time in your life? Because it's possible that, you know, you are prioritizing yourself, and then your family is going through something else, and especially like you were talking about your friends, you know, though at that time they didn't understand what you were going through. It's important for that time, I think, that you kind of let them go. So letting go and losing this control, you know, like why are they like this, we need to control, I need to tell them what they did wrong, all these things is like basically trying to take control, and that doesn't help, you know, that doesn't help at all. It's important to let go of things and forgive. That's only when the real healing begins.
Oh my goodness. I'm in love with that. Like it's the forgiving. It's, and that I have to say with the friends that I did once have, that was very difficult, because it was like, again, it was letting go of that person that died that day, right? That Ariel that died, that version of Ariel, and everything that went along with it. All of her friends, that car that I once had, that schedule, those jobs, I had to let go of that Ariel. And that on a daily basis, when you can't physically do anything, where you can't literally drive to a new town, where you can't start over, where I can't say move to LA and start fresh, I literally have to start fresh with all of them surrounding me, you know what I mean? And seeing them, so kind of just letting go with friends, it's like, you just have to tell yourself, like, their journey is their journey, my journey is my journey. I would have to literally remind myself that I was in an accident, because at times, like, I wouldn't realize, like, I'm like, no, I'm literally at their level. I'm here, like I'm now driving again, but I do X, Y, and Z. Like, so I would compare a lot to them.
Yeah.
Right. I would find that was stunting my growth. And it's like that part of comparing and letting go, like that was the hardest, right? So after a while, like just kind of talking it out with my boyfriend and with my family really helped let it go completely, let go of them and that old version of Ariel that once was, and just talking it out, getting it out, movement. Just gotta keep just going at the end of the day.
Wow. Okay, this is like I can so relate to whatever you are saying. I have started to get instances in my mind.
If you don't mind me asking, can I
Yes.
ask you a question?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, I mean, no,
Yes,
because like
yes.
if you don't feel comfortable, how did you handle, your situation and what you went through with your family member? If you want to bring it up, like, because I would love to know your perspective.
Yes. So for me, it wasn't. Let's say, I was in Singapore when my sister got hospitalized, and I wasn't aware how serious the situation was. I was anyway coming like in 10 days, so my family didn't inform me. And I traveled the day where the doctor had like the first time said that things are not good, they can go either way. And I was taken to her next morning. So like with my sister, my parents were like in a very very difficult position, like in the sense that my mom could not visit the hospital because she would have got fainted. She would not have been able to see my sister like the first 10-15 days. And my dad, very emotional, so wasn't very strong and positive about the whole situation, though very strong in the sense that he was dealing with everything. He had to take some difficult, like filling that form is a very difficult task where you're like, let the surgery go, we'll see what happens. And my uncle and my aunt from my mother's side, they were like very supportive. They were like my father's backbone at those times to take these critical decisions. But like when she was in hospital, she was in a stroke ICU for 5 months, and it was very difficult to kind of see her in that place. I used to meet her and see her like you were in she was in coma, she was in semi coma for a month or so. So I used to talk to her like nothing had happened, like nothing at all. And I used to give her like all the gossip and all the TV series updates and everything. Like that's how I used to talk to her. And she was getting better. I was there for a month and two. She was getting better, but then I had to travel to Germany to work, because we were thinking that when she comes home, my father might want to stay home a little more, and he might not be able to take everything financially for the family. So me being the second in order had to like take charge, because my sister had got like her right side also had got paralyzed. So she wasn't able to move, and she was actually, like when you were saying, she was learning everything. So my mother then eventually started going to the hospital along with my father, because it was like a 24-hour shift for 5 months, which my parents were kind of doing in the hospital, like day and night in. So they were like feeding her everything. Like my mother had to teach her to bite an apple, like that's the kind of work they had to do, like eat and listen and have a control over her hand holding the screen. So for me it was very very difficult, because firstly when I was seeing, she was my elder sister, so seeing her, you never hear these stories. You always hear stories where the parent has gone through something and the kids are taking care, but you never imagine like one of like the same age. Like I'm pretty sure your sisters must have felt, because then you don't know what to do, because it's too emotional and it's too much to deal with, because it's not that there's financial burden over your head, but it's a lot emotionally. Like she was my roommate for 25 years, that's another level. And you cannot, especially with sisters, you cannot share that. You don't know. It's uncomparable. So it was very difficult during, and it was very very difficult after. Like I still like write post in a manner where I feel like I talk to her. Like especially I feel like very recent, I don't know, like every year is like,
say it. I want to learn.
It's like every year I feel like I want her more, if that is even possible. Like I feel like I'm at a stage right now that I've needed her the most, like currently. And especially with a lot of things going on in the past few weeks and months, I feel like nobody can understand like what I'm going through, what I want, because our bond was very special. Like our bond is still very special, because I don't think so anybody can replace it. And now just feel like it's easier for me to write to her rather than talk to 10 people in the room. That feels like she could understand me better this way. And I always believe that she's there protecting me. Like my company is named after her. The name of my sister's name is Pankhuri, and my company's name is Punk Tech.
Oh,
So
I love
that's how I got into this brain part, and that's why I created this. So for me, it's not been very easy. It was never, and still not very easy, because this is like my trigger. This is, if anybody gets hospitalized, I have like I imagine the worst.
Yeah.
I imagine like the very worst, because I was very positive when she was in the hospital. Nothing can happen to her. I had that attitude, like
Yeah.
like that.
She's gonna recover.
Like what happened, that is not an option. Like I had that thinking, that is not an option. She has to fight through, and I will make that happen. And then so I went through that phase where I regretted going out, I regretted not being her, I regretted being positive. Like I was thinking that maybe I was a little more vulnerable, so that I could have shared what I really felt. Because when I was with her in the hospital, I never shed a tear. Like I think even for 1 month after, I never cried. I cried when I went back home, because like our birthdays are only 2 weeks apart, and we always celebrate like 10 days apart. So we always celebrated our birthdays together, like since childhood. Like, and now it just feels like wrong to even do that, like celebrate it, because it just feels incomplete. Like there's like nothing in this world which can make me feel like 100%.
But can I just say something? She's there with you. Like
I completely know.
She's right there with you. Her energy is right there. She is protecting you. She's there. Like, thank you for having this conversation, and thank you for giving your perspective, because again, I'm still learning the perspective of my family, but the fact that you're going through what you're going through, she's there. She's not, she never left. She's right there. No, she's right there.
She is right here. Like when this happened, I decided, like I think within a month, that there were a lot of qualities of her that I want all our family members to learn and take, because it's not that she's gone. We have to take everything inside of her, so that the four of us could actually complete and become one Pankhuri. That's what I had kind of thought in my mind, and that's how I live my life. There are sometimes I want to slap the person in front of me, but then I think, what would she would have done. So
that's amazing.
Even today, a lot of her friends like got married in the past 1 week, and I know I have to do this, a social media post for her friends, otherwise she will like kick my ass. Like even the smallest of things, I always think like, what would she say, do, and want me to do? And that's how I take decisions in my life.
That guidance, right? Because it's like guidance at the end of the day.
Exactly.
It pushes you to move forward and continue what you're doing and spreading awareness on mental health. And I commend you so much for doing what you're doing, and it's amazing. And thank you so much for what you're doing. I appreciate it more than you will ever know. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Ariel, for sharing this part, because I know for us, it's like you are asking me questions you want to ask your family, and I'm asking you questions which I really want to know how it felt like during those 5 months for my sister. So thank you for firstly coming up and sharing this inspirational story with everybody on the platform. I want everybody from this story, it was not to just share Ariel's story, but it is to take motivation and inspiration from her, that we have to decide, we have to fight through, we have to take charge. Your emotions, I wanted to show you the importance of how important your brain and your mental health is. Like, you cannot say brain and mental health, because mental health is actually a part of your brain. So this is how important it is, and slight accident, a disease can actually hamper with it. So just prioritize your mental health over anything else in this world. And there are a lot of things which Ariel shared with us, such as physical activity, music, talking, therapy, which can be really, really, really helpful. Is there anything, Ariel, that you would like to add?
Yes. Last thing, setting your intention. I kind of brought this up a little bit, but if you're in a position right now, like you have this dream, right, of where you want to be in the next couple of months to a year to 5 years. Tell yourself over and over again, I am X, Y, and Z. But really, like, envision it. Envision how you're going to look and how you're going to be. And you're putting it out into the universe, and then it's going to be. It's setting that intention and just being positive every day and just reminding yourself of that goal. And I think that really helps.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Thank you for adding that. Like, I think I kind of missed it, but this is really important. So everybody who thinks that they can would love to ask Ariel any more questions, please contact her on TBI_me handle at Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. And I will give the link to her Instagram below in the comment section. The video will be there on our YouTube channel, Facebook, and also on our website, www.neuphony.com. If you have any questions with regards to brain, trauma, mental health, please feel free to reach out to either of us. Thank you so much for joining us today. And Ariel, there's a lot of love out there for you. Please do check out in the comments as well.
Of course. I'll if anybody has questions, I'll give the answers. So yeah.
Thank you, everybody.